Graduates and guests, good afternoon and welcome to this graduation ceremony of Central Queensland University. Please be seated. I would like to draw your attention to the University Mace sitting centre stage. The mace is a gift to the University from the Darumble people, the traditional owners of the land of the Rockhampton campus. The mace is a symbol of the University's responsibility to work for the sustenance of our present world and to ensure that future generations are not disadvantaged but are enriched by our efforts. I now invite the Chancellor, Mr. Rennie Fritchie, to deliver the address of welcome.
Members of consular staffs, members of the University Council, Vice-Chancellor and President, Professor John Rickard, the guest speaker, Mr. John Bertrand AM, distinguished guests, graduands, ladies and gentlemen. It's a particular pleasure for me to be present at this, the 20th graduation from the Sydney International Campus. Today is an important day of celebration for both CQU and its students and graduates, and we've come together to celebrate your success. The first students came to Sydney in 1994, and we only had 29 of those. Right now, in 2004, we have 3,805 students, a really remarkable growth path over that period. I bid a warm welcome to our new graduates. We're here today to acknowledge your efforts and the achievement of your milestone. In some cases, you'll be the first member of your family to have received a degree, and that's a particular milestone, isn't it? Really a double one for you and one for your family as well. I also especially welcome all the relatives and friends and supporters of the new graduates today. In many cases, the sacrifice from them, both financially and otherwise, has been really significant. And in a sense, this is very much their day as well. Also, I'd like to welcome the staff of Central Queensland and campus management staff, whose dedication has also led to the successes here today. Our students and graduates and alumni are the lifeblood of Central Queensland University, and it's a particular pleasure today to celebrate yet another milestone in the form of this graduation. I would like particularly warmly to congratulate all the graduates. I think what you've achieved today has been terrific, and I hope it's just one step on the long learning path throughout your lives. Thank you. I call on the Vice-Chancellor and President, Professor John Rickard, to give the opening address.
Chancellor, distinguished guests, my colleagues, friends, and of course, graduates. I'm delighted to be here today after only a few weeks as the Vice-Chancellor of Central Queensland University. It's the third graduation ceremony for me, Brisbane on Wednesday, Melbourne yesterday, and now Sydney. I guess typical of Sydney, one would say, well, it has to be bigger and better. There cannot be a more impressive venue for a graduation than this town hall. I'd like to begin by first of all thanking the graduating students today on exercising such terrific judgment in choosing to come and study at Central Queensland University. We're all extremely grateful within the university for you taking that decision. Secondly, I would like to, as I say, add my congratulations, my warmest congratulations to you. I hope in the fullness of time that you will all find that your investment in making that decision to come to the university, that it proves to be a very valuable and beneficial one. Central Queensland University is one of Australia's most dynamic universities. It has 9 campuses on the east coast of Australia, ranging from Mackay in the north to Melbourne in the south. It also has campuses in the Pacific and in Southeast Asia. The university is recognised for its outstanding export achievements in the field of educational services, facilities and curriculum design. That recognition is at both the state and national level. In 2002, IDP Education Australia awarded the university National Exporter of the Year in Education. In 2001 and again in 2002, the university was the winner of the Premier of Queensland's Export Award for Education. The university has established a credible reputation for supporting our students wherever they happen to be located. We are completely and totally committed to being a unified university, and a key factor in our success is our ability to effectively service our global student population through the delivery of a diverse range of academic programs, through our teaching and our learning support. Just recently, the 2005 edition of the Good Universities Guide was released. That guide, a very highly regarded production, recognised the university's excellence with 6 5-star ratings. Those areas were in positive graduate outcomes, salaries paid on graduation. The salaries paid to CQU graduates are significantly above the average for graduates from Australian universities. We were also recognised for excellence in international enrolments, for our cultural diversity, Indigenous participation, and the credit and articulation that we provide to students from TAFE and elsewhere. To all of the graduating students today, I'd like very much to acknowledge that as students of the university, you've all contributed to that success. Thank you. The university's rich cultural diversity is probably no better illustrated by the array of graduating students, or from the countries from which they are from. If I could read you some of the countries represented amongst our graduates today: Australia, Bahrain, Bangladesh, Brazil, Cambodia, China, the Czech Republic, England, Eritrea, Fiji, Hong Kong, India, Indonesia, Iran, Japan, Jordan, Kazakhstan, Kenya, the Republic of Korea, Laos People's Democratic Republic, Latvia, Lebanon, Lithuania, Macau, Malaysia, Myanmar, Nepal, Nigeria, Pakistan, Peru, Philippines, Poland, the Russian Federation, Singapore, Slovakia, Sri Lanka, Syrian Arab Republic, Taiwan, the United Republic of Tanzania, Thailand, Tonga, Vietnam. I'm sure you'll all agree that for a university with its origins in central Queensland, that's a very impressive array of students from around the globe. Again, I'd like to thank all of our international students for coming to the university, and not just for what I hope we've given you, but I'd like to thank you very much for what you have given us in enriching our everyday way of life, not just within Central Queensland University, but within the Australian community at large. Again, a hearty thank you. The diversity that I've just indicated amongst our students provides significant learning opportunities for our staff, for other students, and indeed for the community generally. CQU is a very young, enthusiastic regional university. In providing its programs, in conducting research, in engaging with the community, indeed in everything that we do, we strive to be regionally relevant, be that at a local or national level, but in addition, we strive to be significant on the global stage. And I might say whether that is in research, teaching, learning, whatever, that's critically important to all of you graduating today. Because in your future lives you will, probably on many occasions, wish to continue your learning at other institutions. I must say I hope many of you will return to us for future learning. But should you want to do that at other institutions around the world, you will wish, indeed you will demand, that universities around the world recognise and acknowledge the testimony, the qualification that you have obtained from Central Queensland University. I just want to pledge to you all the dedication and commitment of myself and all of the staff within the university to helping to develop the brand name of the university so that you may indeed gain access whenever or wherever you choose to higher education. When you shortly move across this platform and make the transition from graduates to graduates of the university, you'll all become alumni, foster children. The university will be your alma mater, your foster mother. I just want to again commit to you that, like all good mothers, the university will endeavour to remain in touch. It will endeavour to do what it can for you in your future careers and your personal development. Can I urge all of you, as your natural mothers would do, and no doubt will do, to please remain in touch with us, with the university, to share with us and to share with your colleagues today, your other graduating students, to share your career successes and your personal successes. So please join the alumni and remain in touch and help us all further develop CQU. I'd now like, if I may, to thank all of my own staff within the university, the staff of Sea Management Services, the staff of the Sydney International Campus. And I include in that thank you all of the staff, not just the academic staff, not just the people that might have imparted knowledge, but the people that have helped you in all sorts of ways, be it technical or just by a little bit of counselling or friendly assistance. I'd like to thank all of them for their contribution to you being here today. I'd also acknowledge the immense contribution of your parents and your friends. And I would include there absent relatives and friends who are unable to be with you today. Without the help and assistance of those people, many of you would not be here today. And again, I acknowledge the significant sacrifice that many of your families have made and that you have made to actually be here and graduate today. In closing, I'd like to cite, paraphrase slightly, some words used by President John Kennedy and his brother Robert. I think they're very pertinent, and I urge you to hear them and respond to them in the future. President Kennedy said, "Many people see the world as it is and ask, why? I see the world as it could be and ask, why not?" I hope that the university, has developed your inquiring minds. Never be afraid to ask the why question, but I do urge you to go out into the world and try to be the why not person that quote refers to. And once again, warmest congratulations and my most sincere best wishes for your future careers and your personal development. Thank you.
I invite the Chancellor to introduce the guest speaker.
John Bertrand would have you believe that his main claim to fame is that he is a proud Australian. To his fellow Australians, he is much more than that. He is the Australian who skippered the wing-keel Australia 2 to victory over Dennis Connor's Liberty to win the 1983 America's Cup. And that broke 132 years of American domination. And that's over all countries, by the way. And in the process, breaking the longest running record in the history of modern sport. The comeback from 3-1 down, in other words, the Americans were winning 3 and we're only winning 1, and that's out of 7 races. And the final race victory, billed as the race of the century, was perhaps the greatest upset in modern sports history. Ask any Australian where he or she was on the day that happened, and they will remember. Certainly remember where I was at that time. The Australia 2 team victory was voted by the Confederation of Australian Sport as the greatest team performance in 200 years of Australian sport. A world champion and Olympic medalist, John represented Australia in 5 America's Cups and 2 Olympic Games. In over 25 years of America's Cup campaigning, he was involved in all areas of activity, from skipper of Australia 2 to chairman of One Australia. Australia confirmed a member of the Order of Australia, AM, on John in 1985, and his biography, Born to Win, published in 1985, was at the time the largest selling biography in Australian publishing history. Together with Herb Elliott and Dawn Fraser, John was a member of the 2000 Australian Olympic team, acting as a mentor to the team athletes. John is both a businessman and a philanthropist. He's co-owner and chairman of the television production and distribution company named Worldwide Entertainment, and that exports television shows to 120 countries worldwide. John is chairman of the Prime Minister's Alana and Madeline Children's Foundation, and that foundation is a world leader in developing anti-bullying programs within Australian schools. He's also a director of Sport Australia Hall of Fame. John holds a mechanical engineering degree from Monash University and a Master of Science degree from MIT in Boston. He's a life member of both the International America's Cup Hall of Fame and Australia's Sports Hall of Fame. John's love of sailing continues. Currently he is ranked #1 in the world in the actual class. Please join me in welcoming our guest speaker today, Mr. John Bertrand.
Well, thank you very much, and what a pleasure it is to be here. And let me say welcome to citizens of the world in terms of coming to this graduation ceremony. Also, I'd like to confess that my mother, and she won't like me saying it, my mother's 87 years old, and she still teaches immigrants from around the world, particularly Vietnam at the moment. She teaches them English 1 day a week. She gets in a little Datsun car on 180B, and she drives across from Melbourne to Springvale, and she teaches these immigrants the English language so that they can get on in terms of integrating into this country. And that's something I'm very proud of. And having been introduced to what you have here today, it's just, I must say, it fills me with pride in terms of the work that's been done, and of course the intellectual knowledge that Australia, through you students who are graduating today, are exporting back to around the world. It's just fantastic and very, very exciting from my perspective. While, of course, you've been studying in Australia, you students, you will, I think, have picked up some of the cultural aspects of this country. You might say that the core culture of Australia. And I think one of the things that we accept in Australia so easily, which is so fundamentally important for the world, is we have a sense of freedom in Australia. And the concept of so little security that's required when we walk around the streets or travel from city to city or country town to country town. It's just a wonderful aspect of this free country, and it's something that we're very, very proud of. And I think in addition to that, there's a cultural aspect of give it a go. We call it give it a go, mate. And that is that anything can be achieved. And this country, in terms of its modern settlement, is very, very young. It's a little over 200 years old in that regard. And the entrepreneurial spirit that was required to allow European and Asian people to move into this country was huge and is still huge. And I hope that that entrepreneurial spirit that is such an important part of Australia, you've picked up and you'll take back to your own countries. It's fundamentally very, very important for the growth of any nation. I think another thing that we are becoming more and more proud of, and it's becoming more clear to us, is a sense of multiculturalism. In Australia, of course, we are the location for immigrants from all around the world. And initially, of course, it came from Europe and also the United States, from the Baltic states and all throughout Europe, Greece, Turkey, Italy, and so on. And then more recently from Asia, all throughout Asia, we're seeing immigrants come to this country. And I think it's been quite an amazing success that our people from all around the world have integrated into Australia so seamlessly. And it's something that, again, we're very proud of. And to see all the different nations of the world represented here today, and for you folks to be able to come to Australia, live in peace, learn within the guidelines of this university and go back to your countries of your choice, is just a wonderful privilege to have. It's something that myself as an Australian is very, very proud of. And of course the final cultural value that this country that works on and exists on is the culture of sport. We've just seen the Olympic Games stopping the nation, and you again would have been privy to that. You wouldn't have seen your own nations represented on Channel 7 post-broadcast very much. It was only the Aussies, of course, but that's just the way it is, and of course that's the same in any country. We are parochial like any other country. And of course we have football, and then of course we have this thing called the America's Cup. In fact, I'd like to ask the students, who has heard of the America's Cup from anywhere in the world here? Not many. Okay, well the America's Cup is a part of the tradition of Australia, where we started challenging for a yacht race over 40 years ago, and the Americans had dominated this particular race since before the US Civil War. So 150 years ago, the America's Cup started. And it started when a group of people in New York, representing the New York Yacht Club, decided to challenge Great Britain for an event called the World Guinea Cup, this is called. They built a boat 150 years ago called the America, and that boat sailed from New York across to England, Cowes, Isle of Wight, to challenge the best of the British fleet at that stage. This is in 1852. And eventually 19 boats were brought together by the British to race against this one sole American boat. That American boat actually won that race. In fact, Queen Victoria, who was the reigning monarch at the time, said to her assistant, when she could see the yacht America clearly in front, she said, "Sir, who is second?" And the assistant, from what we are told, said, "Madam, there is no second." And that was the culture of this event called the America's Cup. So the Americans, 150 years ago, took it back to the New York Yacht Club, and they successfully defended this particular sporting trophy, this yachting trophy, for 132 years, until Australia eventually garnered the resources to put together a challenge which, as it turns out, won the America's Cup, broke the longest sporting tradition in modern history, and galvanised this country. The America's Cup now is considered one of the 3 most memorable events in modern Australian history. I have a short video that I want to show you folks, just to give a sense of the culture of this country and why we are really such strange people.
I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the crews of both vessels.
On the lawns of the White House, US President Ronald Reagan put on a party for the all-conquering Australians.
Skipper John and Bertrand, you and the crew of the Australia 2 have shown us the stuff of which Australians are made. I know that your countrymen are proud of you, and I want you to take this message back that Americans are proud too. We're proud to have Australians as our very dear friends.
On the telephone, he was equally gracious. And the President said,
our Bob if we had to lose it to anyone, because no one would rather have lost it.
So there you go, we're a funny nation, built on sport as well as many other values, and that's just part and parcel of living and breathing and working in this country. The thing that came out of the America's Cup was this, again, this never give up attitude, never ever give up. And if you learn something, then that's the sort of thing that hopefully again you'll take back as you've studied and under adverse conditions in some cases to be able to generate the degrees that you've attained today. One of the things also as a result of graduating is you've generated a template of thinking such that you can start solving problems in the future, and that's fundamentally very important. It's a fundamental aspect of education of all kinds. And the other aspect, of course, is zeroing in on a passion for learning, a passion for the career that you're wanting to choose. It may not be exactly what you graduated in, but a passion for learning such that you're learning every day. And that's, again, fundamentally so important, and a responsibility that you need to take back home with you. And then I think finally, the responsibility that you have as graduates going into the real world in many ways is the concept of mentoring younger people, passing on your knowledge. It may not be initially, but as you get further involved in the community and further involved in the workplace, then it's again fundamentally important that you put your knowledge out there and mentor young people. And eventually, as you get further established, from my perspective, I think it's very, very important that you give back to your community. The area of philanthropy is so fundamentally important. And for example, in Australia, we have something like 50,000 foundations, all helping our community in all different forms. And again, it's your responsibility as graduates and as thought leaders in your own communities to do that. So I congratulate you, men and women of this world and of this university, and what you achieved today. And may you have many happy days in front of you and an exciting career and exciting future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John Bertrand, world sporting hero, champion and legend. I call upon Mr. Mark Skinner, Chairman, Campus Group Holdings, to deliver a vote of thanks to the guest speaker.
Mr. Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, graduates. It's my very pleasant task on your behalf to propose a vote of thanks to John Bertrand. I sat here pinching myself and realising that I was in the company of one of my idols. I was thinking that maybe I could no longer have a boyhood idol since I'm probably older than John Bertrand. And I guess those values never leave oneself when you recognise the incredible contribution and achievements of this man. I happen to remember where I was at that moment in 1983. I was living in Hong Kong, and the entire Australian community went ballistic and enjoyed themselves for about 3 or 4 days before it became relevant that we had to get back and do some work. And it was probably the values that John spoke of, in my opinion, that are the key values that achieved that and many other achievements that he has done, and that's the give it a go attitude. There's much that a country like Australia takes on and is epitomised by a person like John Bertrand that does take on the challenges and decide that things can be done. I'd just like to thank you for making the time available. I find that whenever I'm in the company of people who achieve things, they seem to have incredibly busy lives, yet they always seem to be able to make time to share their experiences and their insights that they've had on life with others. So on your behalf, I would like you to recognise the time and effort and the advice that Mr. Bertrand has shared with us today through applause. Thank you.
Thank you, Dimitri. I now call upon the President of Academic Board, Professor Alan Knight, to present the graduates.
As President of Academic Board, I certify to you and to Council that these scholars standing before you have fulfilled the requirements prescribed by the University and I ask that you present them with their respective awards.
In the name of the Council, and by my authority as Chancellor, I am pleased to present our newest graduates with their awards. Please honour them with your applause.
Will all of our new graduates please be seated? Mr. Chancellor, I call upon the Sub-Dean of the Faculty of Business and Law, Mr. Asif Iqbal, to present to you graduates from the Faculties of Arts, Health and Sciences and Business and Law.
Mr. Chancellor, I present to you graduates from the Faculties of Arts, Health and Sciences and Business and Law. Master of Letters, James Patrick Cowell. Bachelor of Business Administration, Praveen Chelsea. Nilima Gautam. Meng Che Huang. Nirmal Khare. Master of Business Administration, E-Business, Veerapat Mali Wong.
Thank you, Dimitri. I call upon the Sub-Dean of the Faculty of Informatics and Communication, Professor Ross Lehman, to present to you graduates from the Faculty of Informatics and Communication and the James Goldston Faculty of Engineering and Physical Systems.
Mr. Chancellor, I present to you the graduates from the Faculty of Informatics and Communication and from the James Goldston Faculty of Engineering and Physical Systems. Bachelor of Communication, Bismaya Prakash Haki. Bachelor of Communication, Vicky Mong. Nancy Natalia. Dina Rahayu. Bachelor of Electronic Commerce, Maruf Ahmed. Kazimir Jolanta Ketchonka. Rajiv Pradhan. Peter DeMoto. Bachelor of Internet, Bachelor of Multimedia Studies, Marina Abrafonova. Janusz Wachwas. Lee Ching Tung. Yan Surong Chen. Lee Yuk Jung. Ratakan Rinkai Kaikert. Yun Ma. Shun Wai Ma. Master of Business Administration, Health Services Management, Lydia Marie Schnick. Master of Electronic Commerce, Marion Halas. Iftikhar Ahmed bin Tahir. Mr. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from the Faculty of Informatics, Communication and the James Golston Faculty of Engineering and Physical Systems. I call upon the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Academic and Research, Professor Jim Makovsky, present to present the doctoral graduates to you.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honour to present to you the following Doctor of Philosophy graduates. Poonam Bhatia. Dr. Bhatia's thesis title is Regeneration, Micropropagation and Somatic Embiogenesis in Tomato, Lycopodium esculentum humile. The tomato is a universal crop and is normally raised from hybrid seeds. Hybrid seeds are expensive and hence an alternative method of propagation was investigated. A tissue culture protocol, direct shoot regeneration, micropropagation and somatic embiogenesis has been developed which will enable the production of millions of plants from only a few leaves or cotyledons. The study also revealed that the seedlings produced by this method are genetically similar to those grown from seeds. Joy Harris. Dr. Harris's thesis title is A Collective Metamorphosis Mapping the Multiple Differences Between, Among and Within 6 Women Principals in Queensland Secondary Schools. This thesis is concerned with the way in which Australian society makes sense of, understands and responds to the idea of the woman principle, and is particularly motivated by a desire to circulate more detailed and complex stories about the diverse women who take up these roles.
Chancellor, I call upon the Vice-Chancellor and President, Professor John Rickard, to present to you Mr. Donald Burrows, AO MBE, to be conferred with an honorary degree.
Chancellor, it is with great pleasure I present to you Donald Vernon Burrows. Donald Vernon Burrows, Officer of the Order of Australia, Member of the Order of the British Empire, has made outstanding contributions to music and music education, which is recognised through an extensive list of awards and credits to his name. He was the first Australian jazz musician to win gold records, inducted into the Sydney Jazz Hall of Fame in 1988, named as one of Australia's 100 National Living Treasures in 1998, inducted into the Australian Record Industry Association Hall of Fame in 1991, named Australian Achiever by the National Australia Day Council in 1999, and awarded the Sir Bernard Hines Award for Service to Music in Australia in 2000. Don is a well-established musician, mastering the clarinet, flute and saxophone, having performed concerts, tours and gigs at many international standard events throughout the globe, spanning a period over 40 years. Don's contribution to the Central Queensland University's Conservatorium of Music are equally outstanding through his advice, encouragement and support to staff and students of the Bachelor of Jazz Studies program. In 2000, Don agreed to become an industry mentor for the Bachelor of Jazz Studies program, bringing with him national recognition to the program as well as frequent and beneficial collaboration. Don brings with him energy and inspiration wherever he travels. In recognition of Don's invaluable contributions to music and music education, I ask you to award, on behalf of Council, an Honorary Doctor of Education to Donald Vernon Burrows.
Thank you, Hunter. I now ask all graduates to please stand. I charge you as graduates of Central Queensland University to maintain a commitment to lifelong learning, to strive for truth, integrity and compassion, to contribute to your chosen profession, and by the application of your abilities, support and nurture the communities of which you are part. May your awards bring honour to your chosen professions and to yourselves. Please be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the ceremony. On behalf of the Chancellor and members of the University Council, I would like to thank you for attending and ask you to please remain seated while the Sydney International Campus Directors Leadership Awards are presented. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased now to present the recipients of the Sydney International Campus Directors Leadership Awards to the Chancellor. These awards recognise students who have demonstrated a combination of the following: a strong commitment to their studies, the ability to respond to challenges, a capacity to act as mentors to other students, a willingness to contribute to the life of the campus, outstanding potential for significant leadership in their future careers, clear commitment to the value of cultural diversity, and creative talent and enterprise. I present Ram Kumar Limbu to receive a Campus Directors Leadership Award for his outstanding performance in the Faculty of Business and Law. I present Zhang Wang to receive a Campus Directors Leadership Award for his outstanding performance in the Faculty of Business and Law. I present Peter Demoto to receive a Campus Directors Leadership Award for his outstanding performance in the Faculty of Information and Communication. I present Juvanka Roberts to receive the Campus Directors Leadership Award for her outstanding performance in the Faculty of Informatics and Communication. That concludes the presentation of awards. I invite you now to join Central Queensland University and Sea Management Services staff for refreshments. I would also like to draw your attention, the new graduates, their attention, to the Vice-Chancellor's message on page 2 of the graduation programme. I ask you to now please stand while the official procession retires. Thank you and good afternoon.